Good morning. Good morning. It is Friday. It is 2 days post Christmas, and I think I'm still recovering from all the damn food I had over Christmas. So, welcome to Rise Up the Show. Hope everyone's having a great Friday. Today, man, I got my really special guest. Me and this guy, Johnathan Haggerty. We've known each other for a few months now.
Yeah,
We
few
worked
months.
a few months. We worked together at Lifetime here in Texas, and man, there's people out there where you just have that one conversation, and you instantly connect, man. It's like instant connection, instant friendship on the same. Like our one-on-one meetings are on a whole different level because we just connect on a different wavelength. And so I asked Johnathan to come on the show today just to kind of give you a little bit about his background, his insight, what he's doing now. Man, he's got an amazing story. Johnathan, welcome to the show.
I'm glad to be here. I thank you for being on your show. And hello, everyone, from wherever you are in the world. And happy Friday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, so I want to kick things off. Some rapid fire questions, just so the audience can get to know you a little bit more. So, first question is, where did you grow up?
Where did I grow up? I grew up in Dallas, Texas. Uh, More specifically, I would say South Dallas, Texas,
Okay.
where the sun shines on Christmas. That's what we say.
So I still haven't gone to that side of Dallas. All I know is like uptown Dallas. So,
Yeah, they call it the sunny South,
all
sunny
right,
South
all right.
Dallas.
I'll have to come visit. Where do you live? Where do you live now?
Downtown Dallas, more in the, I would guess, farmers market, Deep Ellum area.
Okay.
Very nice.
What's one of your favorite quotes?
What's one of my favorite quotes? So my rookie year in the NFL, my coach was a huge quote guy. So around the facilities, you would see all these quotes, and one of them stuck with me that I still use today. It's don't sacrifice what you want most for what you want now,
Ooh.
because a lot of us we want those initial things now, but we sacrifice what we want most by chasing what we want now. So, you got to remember the end goal. So
Love it.
that's one of my favorites.
Love it. That's a good quote. What are some of your favorite books?
My favorite book, actually, I have them with me.
Yeah, let's see them.
uh, so I have two of them with me. So this one right here is called The Joseph Calling. And it's 6 stages to discover, navigate, and fulfill your purpose. If anyone who knows me, they know I'm all about purpose. And so I believe God led me to get this book. I really wasn't searching it out, but I prayed about some things and came across this, and I'm on my second time reading it.
Okay.
Just digesting it, and this is probably, other than the Bible, which is my number one book, this is probably the second book. So it it's it relates with the biblical character Joseph, who I relate myself to a lot of the things that he went through. So that's that one, and then Brain on Game On.
Cool.
This is by my friend Lee Richardson. She's a clinical director of the Brain Performance Center. She actually just released this book, so this is a fresh copy. So it talks about, the brain health. A lot of us, we address physical health, we address nutritional, but the brain, you can't neglect that. So this is a golden nugget. So
I love it. I love it. What's one more? And then the number one book's the Bible, right?
yeah,
There
yeah.
you go.
Yeah, number one is the Bible.
Love it.
Because it solves it solves every problem or issue that you could have, and everything that we're going through, someone already went through that, and so yeah.
Love it, man. Love it. What's one of your greatest accomplishments to date?
What's one of my greatest accomplishments to date? Uh, I would say being a father.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I never thought that I would be a dad. It's just like, what type of dad would you be?
Yeah.
But I would say with that question, definitely, being a father to my daughter, and I would say definitely getting this book
Well,
I'm
definitely.
working on my book, so yeah, so it'll be, hopefully released February or March,
Okay.
as far as that is concerned. So I'm really excited about that.
We'll definitely we'll definitely talk more about the book because I know over the last couple of months you and I have talked about it. So I definitely want to share with the audience what the book's all about and
Yeah, yeah.
what's happening with that. What's one of your superpowers?
What's one of my
Yes,
superpowers?
sir.
So if I could have a superpower,
Yep. Or what? No. What's one of them? Like, what do you feel like? There's something like you do that no one else does as great as you do. That is your superpower. Like, what is it's what is that superpower for you? So no, not if you can like I can be
okay,
Superman,
okay.
but like, what is your unique ability that no one else can do better than you?
So I would say my unique ability, as far as a superpower that no one else can do like me, I would say inspire others, motivate and inspire. Um, you know, everyone that I've came across or been around, you know, I've been able to inspire in some way and motivate in some way. I'm known as, you know, a motivator, and it comes from a place of pure love, man. So whether you're going through something or you feel like you're down, I'm that guy who can come in and say, "Hey, you're better than this." So I would say I can get people to see the best in themselves when they hadn't seen it before.
That's a big superpower, my friend. That is a good one. What are you challenged with right now, or what's one challenge you're working through right now?
Well, obviously, this book. Trying to get this book finished. Um, so I'm a there are people who they need motivation from other outlets, but I feel personally that I'm a very self motivated guy. I don't need anyone to give me a pep talk. I'm the person who to give myself a pep talk, and so as far as what do I need to do as far as that is concerned, I would say finishing the year strong. A lot of times when we get in the month of December, it's kind of like, I'm waiting for
Yep.
January, but I don't want to have that mindset. I want to actually, finish out these last couple of days and roll in with a lot of steam into January, Lord willing.
I love it. I love it. Last one. What are you grateful for most today?
What am I grateful for?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm grateful for life first. I'm grateful for life. I'm definitely grateful for family. So I had some family in town for Christmas, and we played Monopoly and just really we had some guests in town, and they were taking pictures of like all the ornaments and just uh, the house, and like, wow, there's a lot of love here. So I just remember just reflecting, like, man, I really love spending time with family. Like, I've been a lot of places, ate a lot of great food, but it's nothing like family time and being around the
Yep.
ones like you really love.
Yep. That's important, man. That's important. So I want to get into your story because man, like it's the J Hag or Jonathan Haggerty people see in the club or they meet today.
In the
They're
club, hold
it,
on, hold
not,
on, hold on.
not
Which
that
club?
club, not that club,
Okay.
not that club. That was the old J Hag. No, go
You got to
back to
clarify.
yeah,
Gym
I
club.
do the gym club. Let me make that clear. Go back because I love. I mean, the purpose of the show is finding those moments along the journey that helped you get on the right path to where you are today. But that doesn't happen without going back to kind of where the whole journey started. Growing up in South Dallas, you played in the NFL. Can I take us back a little bit and talk about your story of kind of where you were and kind of what are some of those things that led you to where you are today?
Well, I'm from South Dallas, and so rough neighborhood. I grew up in a rough neighborhood. You can call it, obscurity or inner city, to where there's a lot of drugs, gang violence, where family and friends, like we're in this environment, and so I want it better for myself, and come from a single parent household, so one of the things my mom told me when I was very younger is you can do anything that you want to do and be anything that you want to be. And so, like, I believed her. And I knew that I was talented, but I didn't know at that point what I wanted to do until I was looking at the Dallas Cowboys winning those championships. Now, I know as of late, we can't talk about what the Cowboys did.
Yeah, we can't.
But when they were winning those championships, uh, like my family was celebrating, high fiving, clapping hands, and at a young age, I looked at the TV and I was like, man, I want to do that someday. And so, little did I know that that's the path that I was set out on. And so, at the point where I was dreaming to play in the NFL, I hadn't even played for a Pop Warner team. So it
Wow.
wasn't, I didn't get around to playing football as far as team organized sports until high school,
Dang.
my ninth grade year.
Okay.
And it was nothing of what it looked like on TV. Because growing up in the inner city, man, it's tough. You got to earn your stripes, so to speak. And so by the 10th grade, I was ready to give up and quit football for good. And so I think this was a divine moment. I feel like God always orders your steps. And so, I was sure in my mind that I was going to quit football because it just wasn't working out the way that I wanted to. I was smaller. I wasn't the fastest. I wasn't the strongest. And so I was like, man, this is not what I thought it would be. It's not fun. And so uh, one of my freshman football coaches, he stayed around the corner from my aunt before she passed away. And I was walking around the block, and I saw him in his yard, and I was like, "What's up?" And he's like, "What's up, J Hat?" And so that night we sat on his porch and we talked for like an hour and 30 minutes, man. And I was very transparent with him. I was like, Coach, I don't think this football thing is for me. Like, and I'm letting you know, like, I'm gonna quit. And so he looked at me and he was like, "No, you're not." And like
Mm.
I looked at him like, you know, and so he was like, "You know why?" And I was like, "Why?" And he was like, "Because you're not a quitter." And like it was silent for a moment, and I was like, and he was like, he said, "I know what's going on." He said a lot of those guys out there, they're super talented. The coaches might like this guy better than that guy. They're faster than you, they're stronger. He was like, but you have something they don't have. And so at this point, I'm thinking he's trying to rah me. I'm like, what? And he's like, you have a work ethic. And so that's the first time I heard that word. And I was like, what do you mean? And he said, since they're talented and they rely on the talents, and you work for every play, you work for every catch, you work for every block. In the weight room, you try to work. He was like, I guarantee you, if you keep that up, your hard work will outwork their talents and you'll get what you want. So when he said you'll get what you want, he didn't know I was thinking about the NFL at that point. And so when he said that to me, I'm like, I'll get what I want. That just lit a fire in me, man. And I,
Dang.
I believe that was my first initial rise up moment, because I was sure in my mind that I was going to quit. And I wasn't necessarily going to even tell anybody. I was just going to not show up. But the fact that I seen him, it was like God was like, let me put him right here. And man, from then on, I just start working as twice as hard. If they were faster than me, I worked out with them. If they were stronger than me, I worked out with them. If if they showed up early, I showed up 20 minutes earlier. If they left, at 6, I left at 6:20. You know, and so I just wanted it that bad. And so I actually became known as the guy who is like the hardest working guy. I started being coined with that phrase in high school, and then when I went to college, when I met my strength coach, it was so funny. I was like, "Hey man, my goal is to go to the NFL," and he's like, "Yeah, everybody's goal is to
Right.
go to the
Right.
NFL." And so I was like, uh, "I'm serious about it." He's like, "Yeah, everybody's serious about it." And so he had heard that from so many people. But one thing I did, uh, I thought outside the box, and so when he would give us his workouts to do, I would come to him. I'd be like, "Man, that's the best you got. Those workouts are easy."
Dang.
I was like,
He
"Hi."
he probably wasn't happy about that one.
I said, "How am I gonna get to the NFL if you're giving me easy workouts?" Now, now disclaimer: the workouts were not easy. They was very tough, but I wanted the best of what he had, and I wanted to show him that I was very serious and intentional about making it to the NFL. So he started bringing out his really best workouts, and the workouts would kill me. And after I master them, I'll be like, "That's all you got?" And he'll take it to another level, and it'll kill me. And then after I get used to it, I'm like, "That's all you got?" And so in that, I just became better and better and better. And I allowed him to give me constructive criticism.
Mhm.
I'm like, "What do I need to work on? What do I need to get good at?" And he said, "You can catch the ball really awesome, but you need to be breaking off of routes at the drop of a dime and catching it." And so I, man, this should be in my book.
It
I
should, right? Well, let me hold up. Let
Go
me
ahead.
back up a little bit because there's a lot of key points you made there that I want to make sure we hammer home on. And I think one of them is a couple of things. Is your mindset became
Absolutely.
became much after that conversation with your coach. Your mind,
Hmm.
because here's the thing, man, and correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of that inner city, not growing up in a bad or not or growing up in a bad area, that mindset is very different where they get trapped by their by the environment, and in their minds they're like, I will never be better than where I am today. And God puts somebody in front of you that says, "Hey, you can get out of here, but here's what it's going to take: work ethic." But you had to create the mindset for yourself because it would have been easy to say, "Well, you know what? I don't want to work that hard, so I'm just going to quit or be good at where I am." Where did for you, like, where did that mindset shift happen? Because I think that we need to address that or talk about that because that's a big turning point for you.
Well, I think uh, that's a great question. I think everyone talks about the power of a mentor, and like I think that's one of the greatest keys to obtain success, the success that you want in life, and maintain the success. Always having great mentors in your life. And so, even though I grew up in that situation, I always had mentors who I could listen to, whether it was my sister, my brothers, my mother, my uncle, and as a kid, a lot of people in my situation, they never been outside the city to really see that there's something different. So I
Yeah.
think, like every summer, my sister used to come get us and just take us to Houston and allow us to experience like a different experience than what our reality that we were living in.
Yep.
And so, at that moment, with my mom telling me, "You can do what you want to do," and then my sister showing me different, and then my uncle being a very spiritual mentor in my life, I was like, I can do this. Like I can, I can get out here and I can live a better life and do better for myself. Because growing up in the situation where I grew up, there wasn't a lot of motivation when you see, friends get, murdered and drugs, and it's like I don't want that to become me.
Yeah.
Where people are going to jail, like I don't want that because I've seen different, and so I think circumstances and environment can be a great motivator
For sure. For
if you
sure.
let it. So, um, yeah, there are a lot of things, but I think that internal mindset was, you know, wanting wanting the dream more than staying in the current reality. And so it's like when you want to dream so bad, that should outweigh whatever your current reality is. And so I was laser focused on that. Like I could do this. I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but if I get an opportunity, like best believe this is what I'm shooting for. And so I just stayed locked on, man.
Were there moments in that journey or along that dream where you almost like doubt crept in, right? Like, can I really do this, or am I really meant to do this? Like, were those moments? I'm sure they crept in, but when they did, how did you push past them?
So, man, that's a wonderful question. Uh, like, I think a lot of people, if you're real with yourself, a lot of people be like, "Oh, well, I didn't have any doubts. Always knew it." Man, if you're trying to achieve a major dream, you will have doubts along the way. Whether it's people saying this or, um, when it comes to sports, especially if you're not at the running the fastest times or benching, like you can tangibly see that. And so you doubt, like, okay, if I can't do that, then am I going to have a shot? And so there were doubts along the way, but like I say, I had the mindset of, okay, I'm still moving forward. And so whatever the next step is, if I'm still here, then I still got a chance. And so um, there was a point, I think, probably my junior year, where uh, something happened in me that changed the course of my faith, and it was um, I got I got moved to varsity,
Mhm.
and then I got moved back down from varsity to JV. That was very, very painful. Uh, from that moment, like I suffered like embarrassment, just think about, and I've never really shared this with anyone. Only the people who went to school know this. Um, One of my good friends, and I remember what he said to me. So I had my helmets and my shoulder pads, everything in the varsity locker room. They moved me back to JV. I was so hurt. I was so embarrassed. It's just like taking that walk of shame.
Yeah.
And so one of my friends who had been on varsity since he was a freshman, he looked at me as I was getting my stuff, and he said, "Man," he said, "Hag, if it was my vote," he was like, "you'll be on varsity because you're the best receiver we have." That's what he said to me. And so, I took that walk, and it's like I took my bruises and took those bumps. But at that moment, I believe that that's the moment that I didn't care about what people said anymore, because it's like I had suffered all that embarrassment. And so from that moment, whether I made a good catch or had a drop pass, I just kept going. And so I would always say people think the best catches that I've had have been in the game. I disagree. They came in practice, man. And, I was looking at an interview about Michael Jordan. That was like, um, like he was spectacular in the games, but he was more spectacular in practice.
Yeah.
I know what they're talking about, because man, I would go out and compete against my teammate and fight, but there was a point to where nothing that you said about me mattered, because I had already, it's like I had already faced that. So it's like you can't say anything worse uh, that has been said, or you can't do anything worse that's already been done,
Absolutely.
and than that. And
Yep.
so from there, uh, that's just what added to that work ethic, because I wasn't focused on what people thought about me. At that moment, I never cared about what people thought of me again. And so people would be like, "Oh man, you had a great game. You scored 3 touchdowns." I was like, "Yeah, that's good. That's
Well, and
cool."
I think you make a good point where at some point you almost got you can't, and I see this happening today where a lot of people are basing that next move or that next step or that next decision based off of whether someone else is going to like it or not, or they're going to get approval or not, and then if right, and then they never take that next step or that next action or next decision, and then regret starts to set in because they're like, man, like I wish I would have done this and not waited on the approval of others.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I feel like in our space, right, we do, and when we're working with clients, it's always that like, well, I got to make sure my so and so approves it, or my so and so is okay with it, or
Exactly.
are they going to let me do this? And then all of a sudden, they're like, man, they're getting worse, or they're getting out of shape. Or for you, it's like if I would have let all that talk creep in, I at some point I would have never made it to the NFL because it was all based off of the approval of other people liking me. And so knowing that was how did you, because that's a big one because we want to be accepted and we want to be liked. How did you not overcome that, but how did you not let that impact you when when you were on that journey to the NFL?
Man, that's you made a phenomenal point. That's 100% correct, and just I tell you what, I love this interview. So many people need to see this interview. Um, so I'll say it like this: how I overcame it is simply this. When we talk about approval, if you wait on the approval of others, you will never achieve your dreams. If you're
Yes,
waiting for
sir.
somebody to tell,
Yep.
okay, it's okay that you do this, now's the right time, and this, you will never achieve your dreams. So my approval comes from God, not man. And so God says, I'm created in His image and His likeness, and I was made with purpose. He created me with purpose and intent, and He has plans for me. Then the approval of man, it doesn't matter. And so I had to, it's like God doesn't allow you to not face the adversity and trials. He allows that so that you can learn. Your approval is not found in man, and if you think you found it in man, then let me put you in this situation, and we're gonna see your perception because I already know where you're gonna find it, and it's not in man. And so I'm actually grateful for all those hard tests, for all that hard adversity, for all those hard trials, because it taught me early on, before I even went to college and before I became a professional player, that here's where your identity lies. It's not in people, it's in God. And so, like again, it goes back to if you want uh, approval from people, you're never going to get that. Think about social media, how addicting it is. People are out here taking pictures every 5 minutes uh, because they want approval.
Yep.
It's like you got 150 filters. It's like, and it says, okay, 26 likes. Oh man, they didn't like that filter. So I
No.
have to do this photo again
Yep.
so they'll approve of it. Stop seeking approval. You're already approved. You are already approved. Get to work and go after your dreams. And so a lot of people out here are wasting time, man. Uh, uh, just uh, just looking at, okay, how will others like me if I do this? I don't think about how others will approve me or like me. And that's one of the things that my friends, my family, they'll tell you. Like, I'm a man's man. Like, I don't run with a crew, but I have that respect because like, I'm not trying to uh, be or follow your trend. Like, I set my own trends.
Yep.
You feel
Yep.
me?
Yep.
And I'm comfortable in it because if you can't be if you can't be comfortable being yourself, you're definitely not gonna be comfortable being no one else. Oh,
Oh, that was good. That was good. I love it.
hey, you need to send me a copy of this interview.
Hey, Will, you'll get one. You'll get one.
I motivated myself on this.
You did. That was a good one. So, man, and here's the thing, dude. Like, I love that we're going. We're talking about this because your desire and your want to be the best, and when you were in college, started bringing out the best in others because you commanded that, like, hey, I want to go to the NFL, so I need to be the best. So what you and this is something I noticed about you is you cause others to level up as well because you're playing at your best or and you're wanting to get even better, which is going to cause everybody that's with you to also level up because your strength coach had to get better at designing programs because it's
Yeah,
like, hey man, like I'm blown, this is easy. Like remember, I'm trying to go to the NFL, and I think true leaders, man, the best leaders I've ever met have this really unique ability to level up others and bring them and bring out the best in others because they are wanting to be the best. And
absolutely.
for you, I think, now that we're in that strength coach, you're in college, your trainers, your strength coach is creating these programs. Where does it go from there? Like, how does the journey continue?
So the journey from there continued with, like I say, mentors are important. So, like when you're young, uh, your parents have most of that influence early on, and they should, in cultivating that, whether you have both of your parents in the household or a single parent. And then from there, once you go to school, your teachers are your mentors. Now, there's, you know, uh, unfortunately, it's not 100% teachers that are for you, but there are some teachers that you're going to be closer to than other teachers who can give you life advice. And then once you go to college, it might be one or two professors, and if you play sports, you're, you know, my so he was a huge advocate in
It's kind of we got some technical difficulties.
That's the enemy.
There you go. Right?
Can you hear me now?
Again, we're good.
Okay, so when you have a dream, not everybody is going to believe in your dream, but not everybody has to. As long as you believe it, uh, God will put the right people in your life to support that. And so at that time, in college, as I'm working out, as I'm playing, battling on the field for my dream, um, there's behind the scenes, people trying to take away my dream. And so behind those scenes, my strength coach was one of the persons that was fighting for that. And so, I felt in my heart, I felt in my heart that I didn't really have to say anything because uh, there was a point to where I was like, you know, if God has this for me, nobody can take it away from me.
Mm.
I had that realization like if God has this for me, no, it doesn't matter what anybody tries to do. I'm gonna get it. And literally, people who spoke against me, they ended up having to speak well of me. And I knew that they spoke against me behind closed doors. And I was just like, wow. And so it's like when you're destined, when you have destiny attached to your life, no matter what that dream is, whether to be an NFL, NBA, a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, a business person, small business, large business, or a corporate CEO, Fortune 500, nobody can take that away from you. Um, the only person who can alter that is you, and that's if you stop believing that. And so, the bigger the dream, the more the adversity it is that you're going to face. But you don't have to be afraid of the adversity because you're going to overcome it if you continue to go. It's when people give up, they say, well, you know, this person said this about me, or I faced this. well, you got to keep going, man. You can't let
Right.
you
Right.
can't you gonna give it all up.
For
Is what
sure.
they said. And so for me at that point, there was a point to where when I came in college, I wanted to be the all-time leader in yards, catches, and touchdowns because that's one of the things when you're going to be considered for the NFL. It's like, what does your tangible stats show?
Yep.
So I knew that I needed to set myself apart, and by my senior year, I became the all-time leader. Yards, catches, touchdowns, right? So
There
you
you
have to
go.
be intentional about your goals. You have to clarify. And from there, I came in college as a little skinny freshman, right? Um, who was wanting to challenge his strength coach. By the time I left, I was a ripped 195 pounds, and I was working out with my strength coach. It went from him training me to us working out.
Wow.
That shows you the
Yeah.
relationship.
Yep.
And,
Yep.
and so, when you talk about rise up, and I believe like everyone who saw that journey, that they rose up, from the even from the people who were, sophomores and freshmen and juniors who seen me go to the NFL from this small school, small Division II school. They're like, yo, that dude said that
Yep.
and he meant it.
Yep.
And so I don't know how many lives I've touched from that, but sometimes I have people who say, "Man, you said this or you did this," or "Man, I appreciate you," and I don't even know who they are, but I know like, "Oh yeah, you went to
Yep.
my college, yeah,"
Yep. Yeah,
So
man. It's funny how that works.
I saw somebody in the store the other day, and they're just like, "Man, you helped us so much when you spoke to us." I'm like, you know, I don't know what class they were in at Lincoln, but coming back to speak to. So, being able to do that and inspire others, ultimately, that journey, I realized that once I got there, that the journey is not just about me; it's about the other people who are going to draw inspiration
Yep.
and do what they do in
Yep.
life. So,
And I think for you, man, like that journey from getting, high school to college, there was like these, like you leveled up and got the right people around you. God put the right people around you. You developed those relationships. You got bigger, faster, stronger, everything you needed to get to the NFL. And now you're in the NFL. And we all know, man, like I have a friend, Anthony Trucks, who played in the NFL as well. And
mm-hmm.
bro, like it's a whole nother, it's another level in the NFL, right? I mean, you're talking the 1% of the greatest athletes go to that level. So for you, man, like what was that experience like going from college to now you're in the NFL? Like, talk to us about that a little bit.
So there's so many things I can tell you about the NFL. There's like countless things I can tell you about that. But I'll just pick a few. So when you go from high school to college, it's like, man, these athletes are really good.
Yeah.
When you go from college to the NFL, you're like, oh my God, everybody's good. Everybody's fast. And not only that, they're really good. And so, you know, it was it was surreal because and me and my homeboy had a conversation last night. It's like when you're working so hard and you're chasing that dream, it's like when you finally get there, it's shocking because you're like, this is what I've been chasing.
Yeah. Yep.
And for me, it's like this is what I've been chasing my whole life. And so when you finally arrive, it's like, oh boy, wow. It's surreal. And so I remember my first game against the Green Bay Packers. You know, I've just been known as a guy who's working, like grinding. And then, I'm playing, before I play my first game, uh, now I have on my uniform, and I look in the mirror, and that was like one of the moments where I actually stopped and reflected because you're working so hard, you're trying to make the team, you're trying
Yep.
to do all the things
Yep.
right. But when I got ready for this game and I looked in the mirror, I immediately thought about when I was younger, wanting to get. And I was like, what are you doing here? And I went on the field, and so the the NFL lifestyle is very different. Uh, you know, it's very different from just a normal lifestyle. You
Mm.
have to. There's a lot of things that are associated with it that it's just like a part of it, and so um, especially the money, the women, all of a sudden, you have all these women, chasing you. And so, my coach used to always joke. He said, "You haven't got any smarter, and you don't look any better." So
You're just making a whole lot more money.
we used to laugh so hard. Uh, but it just depends on who you are. It's like if you got someone who is just a person who hates a lot, or mean when they get more money, then they're going to be more of
Yep.
that. It's
Yep.
just money only magnifies who you are. So if you're generous when you don't have it, and then when you have it, you're going to be more generous. And so um, just the whole lifestyle. It's a different life. It's unique. Especially, I think one of the most rewarding parts about it is the signing autographs, doing NFL Play 60 with the kids, visiting hospitals. I really really love that. To where you see a kid who's maybe dealing with cancer or something like that, and you're like, they're looking at you like, wow, you're amazing. And I'm looking at them like, no, you're amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
uh, and then, just game day. I cannot explain it, brother. I cannot explain just the feeling of when you step on that field. It's just like you, it feels so good that you want to cry, you want to yell, you want to scream. You're just so excited,
Yeah,
and
I bet.
just,
I
bro,
bet.
it's crazy. Uh, so I would say, you know, it's the level, the level of work ethic. Oh, you got to work. It's twice as hard.
Yep.
Like if it's just like in high school, you got to work twice as hard to get, to that college level. And college level and jump from the NFL, it's like, oh my God, you know, you. I put it like this: you better be, you better be physically ready. Uh, but when you get to that game, it's physical and mental, because that playbook is as thick as a phone book. Like when when I signed to the Patriots and they gave me that playbook, I said, "Oh, wait,
It's a phone book.
that thing is thick.
Dang.
That
How was
thing is
that, man? Like, so you signed with the Patriots, you're playing with Brady, you got Belichick as a coach. You're kind of like on the team in the NFL. So, like, how was it? Because I mean, I know you played for other teams as well. So, by the time what in your experience, like, what set the Patriots apart from the other teams you played for? And knowing that now you're on the Patriots, what did that do to your mindset to say now I'm on like a Super Bowl winning team? Like I need to step my game up. Like how did those two, like what did you learn from that experience?
great question. So I played for the Browns, Bears, and Patriots, and so my rookie year when I played for the Browns, my offensive coordinator, his offense is similar to the Patriots' offense.
Okay.
So fast forward, when I signed to the Patriots, everyone used to talk about how complicated their system is and stuff like that. How you got to read. And so when I actually got in and I looked at the actual playbook, I'm like, oh, I see what they're talking about. But I had a jump on that because we ran a form of that in Cleveland. And so, um, you know, out of all the organizations, the Patriots is actually where I most felt like I belonged. because of their mindset and because of their mentality. Because they have the number one mindset is do your job, and so it's like okay, we don't have time to celebrate this win or that win and dawn on that. It's next play.
Yep.
It's like nobody cares about that. The only thing we care about is winning the Super Bowl. So whether we win a game or whether you did it good in practice, okay, great job. But let's get to the real deal.
Yep.
Because we got a next practice, we got next game, then we got the playoffs, and then ultimately we got Super Bowl. And it doesn't matter getting there. You want to get there and win it.
Yes, sir.
And then you can celebrate.
Yeah, but that was the one thing when I was watching the Belichick Saban. I think we talked about this in one of our meetings. I was watching the Belichick Saban documentary on HBO, and they kept saying, "Man, do your job," and that's all he kept saying is, "As long as you do your job, we will win." And they never. And a lot of that translates into today, man, right? Like as long as you do your job and as long as you do what you signed up to do, you're gonna win. But I think so many people get caught in this like squirrel syndrome of like the next thing where it's like I'm doing my job, but then something else comes up, so I'm gonna go over here, and then something else. So how did for you, man? Like now you're in the NFL, you're playing with the Patriots, the mindset. Like you never mentioned anything physical. You went right into it was mental.
Oh yeah,
it was
it's mental. It's mental
for sure. What did that do to you with your own? Now that you're there, how did that change your mindset and your mental game?
Well, one of the things that it did was it showed me the power of your mind. It's like I went from being playing in my yard to now Tom Brady is his locker is right across from me. Rob Gronkowski is to the right of me. That's the power of mindset. And so it's not so much the physical things. Obviously, that's a part of the process, but it showed me the power of faith and the power of belief. Because I wasn't the smartest, I wasn't the fastest, I wasn't the strongest. But how am I sitting across from Tom Brady? How am I sitting to the right of Gronkowski or Tebow? How am I having conversations? How am I in this organization? How am I wearing this uniform? It's because of what's in here. And so I know for certain that your mind can take you anywhere that you want to go. I know for certain because I went through that journey. And so it's like people are out here. They have the ability. God has given them the ability but because they're not there at this point, they probably think, is that really achievable? And I'm here to say, yes, it's achievable. You just have to stick with it. You have to stick with it and keep believing and keep working toward that. One of the things as far as do your job with the Patriots is, I'll say it like this. I'll say it another way. If you do the little things in life, the big things will take care of themselves. Everyone's trying to do the big thing, but they don't want to do the little things. Okay, what's one of the little things like that's a part of do your job? You got to wake up early. A lot of that's gonna get half of the people right there because they like to sleep in too much.
Yep.
If you want to play pro football, you better. You don't have to be a morning person, but you're gonna be a morning person. If you play pro sports, you're gonna be, and you're not a morning person, you're gonna be a morning person.
That's funny. What time are you getting up? Like 5 a.m.?
Yep.
Yeah.
5 a.m., 5:30. And that's regular. Yes. And so that's like you're in the weight room working out at like 6 a.m., and then you got meetings after that.
Yeah.
You got meetings, right? And so everybody, watch this. Everybody want the big thing. They want to be in the NFL. They want to, they want to shine. They want the money. But hey, Not everybody want to wake up at 5 a.m.
Nope.
Not everybody want to hit that weight room at 5 a.m. or run them sprints at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Nobody, you know what I'm saying? They want to
Right.
sleep in. And so that's what separate the talkers from the doers, because the doers do their job. If I want something in life, then I have to do what it takes. It's just like writing this book. Nobody's going to write this book for me. You know, um, like I'm on page 105 right now. And to get to page 186 or page 200, however long the book is going to be, nobody's going to write that for me. Obviously, you can pay a ghostwriter, but like I want it to be organic and generic, and so I have to write it. And so writing takes time. You got to set time aside. You got to wake up early. You got to, so
Yep. Yep.
um, you got to do the little things. And then when the book is published, that's the big thing. That's what people see, the finished works. And so while they're celebrating what the book, the advice of the book could do for them and things like that, and the inspiration, the motivation, the knowledge, the education, all those things, something that I'll be celebrating internally is, man, the journey.
Yes, sir.
The journey.
Yes,
And
sir.
now it's affecting so many people. Like I went through the journey. I took my time. I was patient. I was disciplined. I was focused. It's the same thing. The same words: work ethic, patience, discipline, focus. Those things, they aren't going anywhere. If you want to be great, those are the intangibles, accountability, right? In every area of life, you gotta have it and do your job. I can apply that to any work environment.
How long did you play in the NFL?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
When you came out and because there was that transition, right? You played, you achieved the dream, and now you're back in quote unquote reality, right? Real world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you get into fitness. So I want to kind of get into what you're doing where you are now, right? You get into fitness. You've got this NFL experience. You
Mm-hmm.
played at the highest level with the one of the best teams, and now you have this mindset and mental strength, and now you're in the fitness space, right? Is this the
Mm-hmm.
transition you made to fitness? What did you, from what you learned in the NFL and all the lessons, how did you apply that into your next journey, which when you got into the fitness space?
So before I say that, I'll clear this up. So it was 3 years, but it was one accredited because of off season and things like that.
Okay.
So 3 league years, but one accredited. But I would say, as it pertains to fitness, how did I get into fitness?
Yeah, or like what are some of the, like, as you made, I mean, obviously there was like lessons
Mm-hmm.
that shaped you while you're in the NFL that like, as you left, you're like, okay, this is what I applied to get into the NFL, meaning these are the lessons that I needed to instill in myself. And now that I've instilled those and I've played at that highest level, these are the same lessons now that I need to instill into my next journey. What were those lessons and how did you end up on the path of fitness?
Yeah, so I would say, great question, man. You're a great interviewer. We
Thank
need
you.
to do this more often. Uh, I would say, when it comes to the lessons that I learned and the things that I carried with me, I would say the principles that the principles that I used to get me to the NFL, I can take those same set of principles and apply them to anything. So one of my strongest principles and character traits is work ethic.
Yep.
That's one of the biggest themes of taking me to my dreams. And so I know that in order, if I want to achieve something not just good, not just great, but absolutely phenomenal in life, I have to apply the principle of work ethic to whatever that is. So that's one of them. Faith is definitely one of those. Um, if I don't believe it, then it's not going to happen. It doesn't. I know that it doesn't matter whether this person or that person believes it. No one else has to believe in what I'm trying to achieve. As long as I believe it, it's possible. I would say perseverance and definitely consistency. So one of my other favorite books that I didn't mention. I know you only gave me 3 options, but this is another one of my all-time favorite.
All
And
right,
I read
we'll
this
do a
early
plus
on.
one.
It's called The Greatest Salesman in the World
Yes.
by Og Mandino. That's one of my absolute favorite books. And it just talks about habit and perseverance. And so I truly believe your habits, whatever you want, it lies in your habits and that discipline. So whether that's getting up at 5 a.m. or doing the hard things that no one wants to do, I feel like that's a strong trait of mine because I've had to do that my whole life. I had to do the things that I didn't necessarily prefer. Uh, but it goes back to that quote, don't sacrifice what you want most for what you want now. Like right now, I don't want to get up, but what I want most is the NFL. So I'm going to get up. And not only that, I'm going to get up early, real early. And my ability to learn and adapt, being from the environment that I'm in, there are a lot of things that happen in your environment that you're like, oh, so you have to learn to adapt very quick.
Yep.
So I would say I'm a quick adapter. You can drop me in anywhere on God's green earth, and I'm gonna adapt. You drop me in the Amazon, I'm probably not gonna be wearing this. I'll probably be wearing like a little
Yes,
tree or
right.
Gotta adapt, baby, or
Yes,
get ate.
sir. Yes,
It's
sir.
eat or get ate. And I would say, as far as fitness, I didn't really choose. I say it like this: I didn't really choose fitness. I feel like it chose me just by my work ethic. And so, physically, I believe God has given me the physical attributes and gifts by way of work ethic. And so, uh, when people would see me work out, they would say, "Hey, man, can you train me?" Or, the people that worked out with me, whether in college or whether my friends or anyone who's seen me, they're like, "Wow, that 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 doesn't look normal." And so from there, I just started training, and you know, I actually love fitness. Like I love working out. I love it's like therapy for me, and I think it comes from a place of when I was younger, that was an escape to get away from all the drama and the madness of the environment. It's like, man, let's go work out. You know, let's take our minds off of what's going on in reality and let's go work out. Let's go hit the gym. And so it's always been, if I'm dealing with something as far as like stressed out or in which I don't really say that I'm stressed out, but I do. Everyone has stress, whether it's you stress or distress.
Right.
Sometimes you get stressed. So I say, let me go either run, let me hit the gym and work out, and I find that gives me, that motivation and it's healthy as well. So.
I think that's where, for most of us, right? For most of us that started training and got into the fitness space, it came from a love of working out, right? Like it was something we loved to do. We saw the benefits, or we went through our own transformation or something, and they're like, wow, like I did this for myself. I want to help others and do this for others. And so we get into personal training and we get into, these, the big box space. And that's kind of where most of us start, is in that world. And for you, I mean, that's kind of been, we both worked at 24-hour fitness at one point, and we work together now at Lifetime. And in that time, you've mentioned this book a couple times now, and I want to make sure we talk about it. Like, where did the inspiration? One, what's the book about? And two, where did the inspiration to write a book? Because that's not an easy task, man. Like most
I
people,
know.
you're like, right? You know, you and I have talked about it a few times. Like it's been, it's taken time. Where did the inspiration for the book come from?
I would say it's like a seed. Uh, the tree has always been in the seed. So the book is it's always been in me. It's just which form are you going to bring it out in, right? Written form. Which form of everything that's in you, your experiences, your love, your passion, your inspiration. How are you going to bring this out as a tangible product and share it with the world? For me, uh, people say that I'm very motivating. I'm very inspiring. I'm very humorous, right? I have that personality. So for me, um, uh, it started in 2010 when I first went to the NFL. One of my spiritual mentors, they say, you need to journal your relationship with God. Get your journal and write on those, write on your relationship. And so I actually started thinking about, hey man, someday I do want to write a book. And so I didn't know, where I would start or what I would write about, but I was just like, man, I definitely want to write um, a book, maybe about my life, maybe about my relationship with God. And actually, I actually started in 2010. Now that's not the book that this one is going to be because
Okay.
that's my autobiography and things like that. Um, um, Amazing title as well. But so I'll do that. I'll release that someday in the near future. But this one, I think more recently, I was like looking at material at about the different types of books that you can write, and I find you made me think about my other favorite book, Draw the Circle. I find that I really love devotionals because it gives you that the information that you need for the day. So, a 10, 15-minute read, and you can meditate on those thoughts and then apply it to your day. And so I said, maybe I should write a devotional because I really, I have several books that are like devotional or challenge style. And so I said, okay, I'll write a book that is a devotional and a challenge. And so I just started thinking about what are some of the things that have helped me with my journey that would help other people. And so I started listing down uh, the chapters and then putting it together. And now I'm over 30,000 words and at 105 pages. And I get so I get so excited when I write. Uh, it's like the do your job, right?
Yep.
It's not a chore. Writing is not a chore for me. I think it's actually a release for me because once I get flowing, it's just like my thoughts on paper. And when I get to read it back, it like mentors me. So as I'm working on the book, I'm working on myself. So it's like I enjoy the journey and just it's coming together really nicely, and I hope that it change you know countless lives, man. Because I'm really putting my all into it, and I'm being patient with it. Uh, I write, and then I step back, I reflect, live life, come back and write. It's almost like what Adele does, right? She comes out with a classic
Yep.
album,
Yep.
and then she leaves,
And then comes back.
lives life, comes back with another classic.
When's the book? So what's the title of the book? If there, if you figured out if you that's finalized yet, and when's the? I know you mentioned a release date, but when are you planning on releasing it?
So definitely in the new year.
Okay.
My birthday is February 5th, so sometime in that window, hopefully we can get it fully published by the end of January, and then promote, and then go from there. Because I got a lot of people excited about it.
Yeah, you do.
My friends in Fort Worth, friends in Dallas, there are people who already are super excited about it.
Love it,
So
man.
I'm excited to see. Oh man, I'm excited to see what it does. And then, I'm probably going to have maybe a book release party signing. It'll probably be where I'm sitting right now, because this is very nice. Summertime, we do like a barbecue book release. So if you,
I'm losing you again.
can you hear me?
Yeah, a little bit. It's a little choppy.
Okay, let me get back over here. Can you see me now?
I can hear you, but it's frozen. But we can just keep talking.
Yeah, so book release with that, and go from there.
Where is there any information? Like, where can?
The title,
Yeah.
So I can give, I can give you out right now. I'll give you the subtitle. It's 90 days to a life of complete wellness.
Okay, so 90 days
Yes.
to a life of complete wellness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Okay, I like that. I like that.
Yeah. So I'm all about being completely well, and I believe God is all about complete wellness, because I believe that's how He created us. Uh, he never intended for us to lack in any area. Oh man, that's good. He never intended for us to lack in any area, and so sometimes, and many times, people go around and they might be nutritionally well but physically suffering.
Mm-hmm.
They might be spiritually well but physically suffering. You know, they might be, nutritionally and physically well but financially suffering. And so I talk about, just the holistic picture, a complete wellness picture. And God gave me and I'm gonna give Him all the credit for this. I'm giving Him all the credit. That's why you hear me say God, because He is all over this book. I don't have enough wisdom to pump out this Himself, but He gave me the 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 cover picture the other day. Man, I jumped out the bed. I said, "Man, you're so good. That's good." You know how you're like, "Hey,
Yes,
man, that's
sir. Yep.
good."
Yep.
I said, "Wow." So, very creative cover, and it's a play on words too. So, uh, I love it.
Nice, man.
So,
Well, I can't wait for it. I can't wait till the release date. I can't wait till it's published. We'll definitely we'll do some more things once the book is. I'm excited for you, man. I know you and I talk about it all the time during our
yeah,
101s. So I'm
yeah.
definitely I'm excited for like the world to see your book and just the lives it's going to impact. And if where do you hang out, man? If somebody watching, listening, I mean, there's so many nuggets you gave in this 70-minute interview.
Yeah,
Uh,
you definitely got to send me this, because I'm a go over it again,
I
and
will.
yeah.
I will. Where
Uh,
can someone like find you, get in contact with you? You know, if someone wants to reach out, where do you hang out?
so if they want to get in contact with me, it's Facebook, Johnathan Haggerty. That's JohnathanHaggerty. On Instagram, it's in the lab working. So INTHELABWORKIN. If they want to follow me on Twitter, it's Royal_Hag. So ROYAL_HAGG. Um, and then like my main page is Royal_Hag on Instagram as well.
Awesome, brother.
Um, But other than that, if it's like a booking or something, they can reach out to you, and you can give them my number, and we can go from there.
Sounds
Whether
good.
it's speaking at a school or whatnot.
Okay. And I'll make sure we'll link all that up. We'll link all the books he mentioned. And then once his book is released, we'll relink his book as well, so you guys can purchase that when it's gone or when it's live. And so, J Hag, my man, I enjoyed our 70-minute conversation. I feel like we could have gone even longer, but I know
Yes, sir.
you gotta get busy with your Friday. And hey, man, I'll see you. I'll see you on Sunday. We'll be working together on Sunday. But man, thanks for coming on the show, bro. I think your episode is gonna change some lives, my friend.
Hey, man, thank you for allowing me to be a guest. It was an honor and pleasure, and I really enjoyed this. It's probably one of the best interviews that I've ever had the pleasure of having. So,
Thanks, brother.
thanks.
Appreciate it. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Leave some comments, share it, reach out to J Hag, and I will see you all real soon. Enjoy your weekend.